What is up, everybody? We welcome you to episode 5 of Sports Shack. How you guys doing? My name is Brandon Talley. I'm here with Dennis Toohey. Merry Christmas. Well, belated Merry Christmas, as they say. Dennis, how was your Christmas?
I had a good Christmas. I just want to say happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate Hanukkah. And
Happy
happy
Hanukkah to those who celebrate.
Kwanzaa,
There
I
you
believe,
go.
starts today, doesn't it? Isn't it
I
the
believe
13
so.
days after Christmas? Um, so, it was okay. I was telling you all about my veal parm the other day.
Yeah, you
Uh,
were.
it was great. I had that Christmas Eve when I saw my family. Hi, family. And yesterday, I just kind of hung out, watched football, watched the 2000 film, the 2005 film starring Keanu Reeves and Shia LaBeouf and Rachel Weisz, Constantine, based on the DC
Mhm.
Comics character John Constantine.
Okay.
I give it about a 6 out of 10. I think that's fair, mediocre, and got a pair of Air Jordans for Christmas.
Nice. I mean, you sure you were flexing that the other day in our fantasy chat.
Yeah, sent a picture yesterday. Yep. So I would bring them. I would show them on camera, but quite frankly, they're in another room, and yeah, kind of weird. Kind of weird to be like, oh, look at my shoe. Especially, I've got the size 14, so I can't. Putting it on camera would just be cumbersome.
I
So,
mean,
how was yours?
it was good. It was good. It was good. I think I got a little cold. That's why I still a little nasally congested, like I was telling you before, but I think my cousin got me sick, but that's what happens around the holidays. You're around a lot of people. It's cold. You're inside. That's what happens. Uh, but it was no, my Christmas was great. I had a great time. Enjoyed it. With my family, my friends. I'm very thankful, very blessed. Had family over Christmas Eve. Got to see there's a lot of like new generations in my family, like kids, babies. It was pretty cool, like because that's the excitement of Christmas. Seeing them happy, getting the presents, and just obviously seeing my family grow. It's cool, in my opinion. It's cool to see. Uh, and obviously, like I said, spend time with my family, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. And obviously, my mom, my dad, my sister, and a boyfriend, and obviously Sadie Grace. Uh, and yeah, no, it was great. And Christmas Day was good. I went to my cousins, and yeah, it was good. So very blessed. So now I'm excited for the new year. I'm gonna see Billy Joel for the first. Like I saw my first ever Knicks game before the New Year's ending. I'm getting Billy Joel out of the way. I'm crossing that off the bucket list.
Yeah, good for you. Never seen Billy Joel in concert, so I'm a little jelly. What's your favorite Billy Joel song?
That's a tough question.
For those of you who are like, why are they talking about Billy Joel? If you don't know this, we're from Long Island.
I'm from Long Island. I don't know. Maybe
That's
I don't know if my accent gives it away. Some people look at me
very
like, "You're definitely
important.
from Long Island." I'm like, "Hey, gotta tell you, I used to, you know." Do you feel like I got a Long Island accent, real quick?
Truth be told, I actually don't really know what a Long Island accent is.
Honestly, yeah. Like people from out of New York or Long Island, they're like,
It's
they look
like
at
people who
you.
say like when you say long, there's like a slight uh lingering on the G.
Long,
Long Island. So like it's
Long
that's
Island.
where people talk about it.
Like I
But
don't know what people look at you to like yeah, he has a Long Island accent. Like how does that comprehend with anything? I don't know. Like how do people know that? I don't know.
my, my thing is the long test that people use to see if you have a Long Island accent is stupid to me. Because nobody pronounces long regardless of where they're from. Nobody says long the way you're supposed to. So I think the whole thing is a work, brother. And yeah, I just think
but
it's kind of stupid. But
but
yeah,
uh but my favorite Billy Joel song. I feel like a lot of people are gonna say people are gonna look at me and they're gonna think, oh, he's definitely gonna say Piano Man. Piano Man, the
no,
mainstream.
you're an only to go die young type.
You think
That's
so?
that's my guess. Yeah.
It's a good song. That's a really good song. I was especially when I was painting at the school during my job. I would Billy Joel was my go-to song, like artist to listen to when I paint. Crazy enough. I highly recommend. I like the song. It's The Stranger. Really good song.
Wow,
Yeah, you don't
that's
know the
my
song?
number two.
Is it really? Wait, your number two? That's
That's
your
my
second
number
favorite?
two.
Okay.
Yeah, Wow, I love that. It's the intro, and I love the counters. Don't
Dun,
be
dun, dun, dun,
afraid.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. And I love whistling too.
Everyone goes south every now and then. Ooh, love that song.
I love whistling to it too.
Yeah.
But
What's
that's. I'm sorry. Continue. Go.
what do you think my favorite is? Because if that's my second one, The Stranger. I didn't see you being saying The Stranger. Wow, that's a
Yeah, I
curveball. You
know
hit me
I
with
know
the
my
old
Billy
Earl
Joel.
Hershiser. Whoop.
I told you I know my Billy Joel. Well, how can you not? Did I tell you I met him before?
Not that I recall.
I have met him. Let me see if I can find the photo. Actually, yeah. Let me see if
Oh,
I was 6 or 7. We were with a bunch of family friends in Oyster Bay because he's from Hicksville, but I guess he used to.
yep,
I think he has a bike shop there around the town of Oyster Bay,
yep.
in like Oyster Bay, uh,
By bike, you
my
mean
family. I
motorcycle.
don't know who caught him, but they just saw him walking and are like, "Hey, Billy!" And like I remember it too. I have a great memory. For those who know me well, they know how good my memory is. It spans forever. I can even remember stuff that I wasn't even born, like placed in 1991. Brand, you weren't even born. Oh, I remember. Okay.
My memory is Swiss cheese. It's
It's
honestly something I'm extremely self conscious about. Something I really want to get working on.
let
To
me
the
see.
point where I
This
even asked my doctor about it. He said, "Eat almonds." I said, "Doc, that
is
is
it
there. He is, the stranger himself,
right there. Yeah, I had no
the
idea. Like I
stranger in
remember
Brandon."
meeting him. You could see I'm like kind of like what's going on right now. Like
Yeah,
I get that. What do you want from
little
me?
Brandon. Is that Pete
Uh,
Godzilla fan era?
I don't think I was there yet. No, but
Oh, okay.
I do remember. I do remember. No, like I remember. Like I think he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, because I didn't know who he was. I thought it was someone because my family they know everybody, so I feel like it was another person they met. No, and long and behold, it was Billy Joel. It wasn't just some random stranger. See what I did there?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was cool. Like I do vividly remember that. I guess he just wanted to take the picture. He was a cool guy, from what I remember. But my first Billy, it's tough. I like New York State of Mind. That's a good song. Uh, Vienna's really good. If you're in a mood, just it's a great song. Uh, She's Always a Woman. A lot of good songs. I'm telling you,
Okay.
I'm hip with Billy Joel. But I guess my number one, either Piano Man. Yes, I know it's mainstream, or New York State of Mind. That'd be one of the choices.
Wow. Yeah. So you and Valerie, classic.
What about
All
you?
right. Take a
Uptown Girl.
guess.
Uptown Girl.
No, I love Uptown Girl. That was on SingStar the '80s, a PS2 game I used to have. I still have the game. It just doesn't work
Really?
right for
That's
me.
crazy. I didn't know that. That's funny. it's
Uptown
it's always a
Girl.
great start to like a movie with the Warner Brothers
Yeah, you're
logo
right.
coming out. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot what movie it is, but I saw it. But like I just remember watching it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a great intro song to a movie. Yeah, I gotta find. What about All right, I'm just gonna look him up now. Is it Piano Man?
No,
Okay.
I don't think it's one that you're gonna get. It's not a. It's one that you'll hear on WBAB or CBS FM. Like it's not a deep
WB.
cut, but it
Oh,
is.
we didn't start the fire.
No,
Oh, that's a good
I'm
one
pretty
then.
indifferent on that one.
Moving out.
Great song, excellent song. That's probably like my third or fourth.
My life.
No, I actually don't like that song.
Really, that's a great song.
Yeah,
That's a great song in my opinion. I think so. It's still rock and roll to me.
no, I don't like that one either.
The longest time.
Great song. That's probably that. If
What is your song?
moving out's not like my third or fourth, that one's probably like the other one.
Allentown.
No, never heard it.
You know,
My
I
mom
give up.
can't stand Billy Joel. My dad likes Billy Joel, but I
Really?
never really listened to him growing up aside from the radio. So you
That's great.
ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pressure.
Oh, that's a great
Love it.
song.
Absolutely love it. One of my
That's
all-time favorite songs, regardless Billy Joel or not.
I tell you what it means.
Pressure.
That's a great song. But I'm excited. Hopefully, one day in the future, I have Mrs. Natalie and you have Mrs. Two. We go see Billy Joel.
Sure.
It's a dream. One day.
Yeah.
But either way,
Wow.
Sports Shack, either way. But I had no problem doing that though.
Yeah.
I
The
had no
uh
problem. People
the
are gonna look
Billy
at this.
Joel
They're
Sports
gonna love
Shack
it for
presents
you.
the Billy Joel hour.
Exactly. There's no Sports Shack without the Billy Joel hour. So I have no regrets for that. But let's dive into. You know what? Let's get to the NBA first. I feel like there's a lot going on, but uh, I recently went to my first ever Knicks game this Monday. They won 139 to 125. So thank you, Knicks, for a great performance. Like I said, I was big with basketball growing up. Well, maybe
Really?
when I was like 10 to 14, I was a LeBron fan. Or I said I was a Heat fan. The reason why? Because LeBron. I loved that's what caught me on to basketball was LeBron James. I give him the credit for that. I'm not so much of a fan of him now than I was back then. Um, but I still think he's one of the best players of a generation. And I was always appreciative watching him growing up and seeing what he did for Cleveland. I remember watching him break the all-time sports record, scoring
Scoring
record that
record.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar held for the longest time. That was a pretty cool moment to watch. And yeah, no. So it was just always great. I remember getting LeBron's, watching him win like the two finals with the Heat. He was growing up, he was a big part of, I guess, my childhood, especially in terms of me watching, watching sports growing up. Like when I tell people, I said, yeah, I remember watching LeBron. Obviously, I always talk about the Jets, the Mets, but yeah, no, like, and then obviously Knicks too with Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire, Raymond Felton, David Lee. Uh, I forgot there's Gallinari. No,
Danilo Gallinari.
yes, him. Uh,
Of
who
course you're
else?
a Gallinari fan. He's Italian.
There you go. Obviously, Iman Shumpert. I remember when Melo got traded to the Knicks. Like I remember when that happened. Um, but but like so, like I always growing up like a bit, but I was I'm sure I was more of a Heat fan, and obviously LeBron kind of left the Heat, and that's kind of when I faded out. I'll admit it. I'm not afraid to say it. Um, but I always would tell people, I guess, when it came to basketball, like more recently over the past couple of years, I would tell people when it comes to the NBA, my team would be the Knicks, not the Nets. It would be the Knicks. And I remember my aunt Jenny, she always talked about the '69 Mets and the Jets, but she also mentioned about the Knicks when they won the championship against the Lakers back then. I remember she showed me a War Cloud Frazier book, trying to get me into the Knicks. So when it comes to the NBA, the basketball, my team would be the Knicks. Now, I try to follow them and I keep up with them as much as I can. They had a good game yesterday too. That was a great game, and I feel like we're gonna dive into that later. But with my game, it was great though. I like my experience at the Garden. I might create a vlog with it. I should did that Christmas Eve. I said I was going to, and I didn't create a little vlog, but I still might. I don't think it's too late. But it was great. They destroyed the Raptors 139 to 125. Um, the Garden was great. The Seventh Street Burger, really good. I have to say, the Garden I feel like has a lot of history that I don't feel like a lot of people talk about. I mean, I didn't realize that there was four buildings. Like I did realize that, but I didn't know there were four of them. I believe I was in the fourth build. Like that was the Garden right now is the fourth building,
Correct.
but it's just known as MSG. No one calls it MSG four.
What's the story?
What was that?
There's a story. I took a history of New York class that somebody, the architect,
Really?
his wife or something like that of the original Madison Square Garden, like threw him off the top or something like that.
Whoa.
Oh, dude, New York in the 1920s, like from like the 1880s to the 1920s, New York was insane, insane, like ancient Rome levels of what just happened. Oh
Okay.
my god! Oh wait, dude, you should take that class, that history of New York class. I mean, it was really
Was
good.
that
You
in
would have
a
liked
West
it.
Fair?
Yeah, you would have liked it a lot.
I probably would have. I love
You
history,
definitely would
so I definitely would. I probably would have. Not gonna lie.
have.
Sounds very interesting. Like sounds great. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
we're
But
not
yeah,
gonna lie
no.
about fringes.
But the MSG, it's really great architecture. It's really a great building. They say it's the greatest arena in the world for a reason. So, uh, I had a good experience watching the Knicks. But the one thing I know we were talking about this before D Train was the ticket price I paid for the game. And like I said, I didn't look for the tickets. My friend did. I think the reason why they were so expensive, I guess, was because it was Christmas time. It was Christmas Eve. Not as big as Thanksgiving Eve, but still up there. So I think that's why it was kind of the way it was my ticket price. And I know we were, the auction was going up. As
So
you were telling me how much I spent.
so
You're
we're
like,
gonna we're gonna redo it now.
hey,
We're gonna redo
so
it now. Short
not two
term.
hundred,
Like I
not
said,
200.
hold on. My memory
All
is Swiss cheese, so I'm coming in clean slate here.
right, go ahead.
Tickets for an NBA game. I saw the picture of where you were at. You seem to be nosebleeds ish.
We row 226.
Okay, that doesn't help me. So I'm just going to assume that that's a yes. 150.
No, bid starts at 150. Going to 150. Going to 50.
No.
No, raise up, raise up,
Oh, raise it up. Okay, so that's
raise
how
up.
we're doing this. Haven't watched Auction Hunters in a long time. Big Allen
Going to
halftime Jones
150,
guy.
150. No, we're not going to
I'm
150.
going to jump
Definitely
to
not 150.
230.
No, definitely not
This puts it
230.
beyond WBC. This puts it beyond World Baseball Classic status. 230.
Ooh, no, definitely not 230 in the corner. Do I got a two? Do I got a 300? Do I got a 300?
Tree fitter. How
You're
about some tree
close. You're getting
fitter?
up to 350. Do I got a three? Do I got a 392? 392.
What?
Yeah. So the 392. That's how much
Brandon!
I paid for my ticket.
Brandon!
Hey,
What?
I don't know if that's because it's the garden,
Big
or
dog.
like I said, it was Christmas Eve. So like I said, it was expensive, yes.
And they played the Raptors.
And they played the Raptors, who
They're a
supposedly
merry
are
band of Mama
according to Stephen
Lukes.
A. Smith, or bona fide scrubs.
They are a merry band of Mama Lukes. How do you
Mama
go to
Luke.
that?
You really getting Italian on here.
My gosh. Well, I did. Like I said, I ate veal parm for dinner.
I like
So
no, I said I like where
the next couple of hours, Irish and Polish dinner is kind of gonna the lines are gonna blur for a little bit.
But yeah, no,
But
that's how much I paid.
what,
Yeah, it's legit.
Brandon? Is that fiscally responsible?
I didn't fight it.
392.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
What
if
do
you're
you?
good for it, you're good for it. And
No, yeah.
you were
It's my
telling me that
first
you had to
game.
do like the little. Well, I won't share anything, but like, oh my goodness, holy Toledo, 392 for a
That's how much. Yeah,
regular season Knicks game,
against
buddy.
the Raptors, not against the Lakers,
Oh,
not against the
oh,
G Dubs, Golden State.
oh, good.
Nope, it was against the bona fide scrubs, Toronto Raptors. Like I said, um, I just went along with it. I paid them over time, so no. Like I said, I didn't do the Venmo or the Zelle where there was interest. No, I did the the Buddy app where I told my friend, I said, hey, here's $100 to start. I give you to overtime because 392. That's a lot of in this economy.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I'm saying.
so like I'm not gonna give it all to you up front now. And I'm good. I'm good. Like if you need me to pay you, I'm that guy. Like I will. I'm not that guy where I don't pay anybody. Like where I don't owe people money. You
I'm
know
like that though.
so that's why I did that. Like I said, like hey, here's $100 now. Give me the rest of the money over time because like I said, 392. That's I can't just throw that money out there like that.
Oh,
But
dude.
maybe next time I'll be the one looking for the seat. I trust him though, and I still had a great time. It was fun.
392.
But it's Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
That's horrible, Brandon. That's horrible. I
it's
went
what
to one Knicks game and it was in Miami, and I went spur of the moment for like $65.
you serious? What?
Brandon, 392. Brandon, 392 is worth more than both of my WBC games and the Heat Knicks combined in Miami.
Okay.
That's insane. So basically, we started off before the show. Brandon and I, we want to talk about if the Christmas Day still belongs to the NBA bars. Why don't we take a look at, what hurts basketball a lot? Games are too expensive.
I mean,
They're too expensive.
How can you tell?
They're too expensive. I'm looking at all the Knicks games on a website that I trust. I'm not going to say their name. Knicks versus Jazz, $256 on New Year's Day. Jazz suck. They're not a good team. I get it. It's New Year's Day, ball drop. You're going to get a lot of tourists. Fine. I'll chalk that one up to the game. I think that's insane to go see freaking Walker Kessler and help me out. What's the Finnish brother's name? Lauri Markkanen for 200 and how much was this? $56. But I'm looking, and deep into January, no games minimum is below 100. Knicks versus Lakers, February 1st is starting at 452. This is after fees. This isn't including fees. Knicks versus Rockets, 150. Celtics versus Knicks, 319. This isn't playoffs or anything like that. Warriors, 336. 191 for the Mavericks. 153 for the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers suck. 198 for the Suns. I'm not going to that. I'm a Suns fan. I'm not going to that. I'm going to the Nets game in a few weeks for $40. $40. I could go see the Nets and the Suns play. $40, man. I'm going to that. I'm not doing this. It's not a Knicks problem either. People have said this in other markets that it's too expensive to go to the games. It's way too expensive to go to games. And I think that's a hard sell for people. If you have a kid or something like that, how do you go?
Yeah.
That's not factoring in concessions. That's not factoring in. I don't know. Did you buy merchandise?
I did buy a shirt.
How much did that run you?
It's 55.
For a t-shirt, Brandon, let me see this. If this doesn't have an Ed Hardy Knicks logo on it, Brandon.
Say, go New York, go New York, go. It's a nice shirt,
Go
though.
bankrupt, go bankrupt, go. Let me see it.
It's a nice shirt.
I'm not trying to rip you. We're already almost 25 minutes into this, so we got to kind of hubba. But come on, man. So it costs you $392 plus 55. That's without tax or with tax? The 55.
I think that was with the tax.
Okay. For simplicity's sake, we'll call it 55. 8 so 392 to 400. So
it was an expensive Knicks game. It was expensive. That's
yeah.
why.
So for $447, that's not factoring in drinks, snacks, anything else. I don't know if you got that or not. That's still about almost $450.
It was like,
so if you're
a train ticket,
if you got a kid or something like that, it could cost you $500-$600 almost to go to a Knicks game.
Yeah,
that's a little ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous, and not for nothing. The team has been horse crap for the better part of the last 25 years. Now they're good, and they're going to start. And even here's the thing about the Knicks. People don't know this if you're not from New York. Even when they were bad, this was the prices. The prices of Knicks games were notoriously expensive. Notoriously expensive. Worse than the Yankees, worse than the Islanders, worse than the Mets, worse than, I don't know if about the Rangers, not the same ownership, but growing up, I didn't know too many people who were going to Knicks games. And I think that's a big reason why when you and I were kids, the only time I remember basketball really blowing up, New York basketball blowing up when we were kids, it was Linsanity. I didn't see too many kids wearing Knicks gear before that. Yeah. Now, it could have been just because they were bad. But growing up, when I was in elementary school, there was one kid in our grade that wore basketball gear, and he wore Nets gear and Cavaliers gear because his parents worked for Quicken Loans, so they would go to Cavs games a lot if they were in town. So he had
Right.
a lot of LeBron stuff.
Oh wow.
But aside from that, I didn't know anybody who wore Knicks gear growing up. People kind of watched it a little bit every now and then, but nobody was really into it. And
I'm
then the
looking at ticket
insanity
prices.
stuff happened, and it turned around.
I'm looking at ticket prices. Okay, so now
It's absurd.
now
It's
for
absurd.
Raptors Knicks, January 8th, it's now $100.
Oh, okay. So they only upcharge you 300. That's not when you put it that way.
Listen, like I said,
It's I listen, and I think people are going to be like, "What about NFL ticket prices?" I get that
but it's
NFL
only
ticket prices aren't much better. Maybe I understand that, but the thing is, like, the NBA, all we hear is how bad the ratings are.
where I feel
Money
like
still keeps pooling into it for some reason. I can't figure out why.
Christmas Day definitely changed that. I feel like I saw that more people watching now than ever. I gotta find it.
I don't know, man.
But hey, like I said, I
I
still had a good
just
time. You know,
I think if you have a good game, a good NFL game on Christmas, and if it's not streaming, let's be honest, Netflix, if it's streaming ratings are already going to be kind of finicky one way or the other. I just think the whole thing is stupid. Like I don't know how the Knicks, how the NBA can compete. Sorry, but they're the most expensive ticket in town.
yeah. They said the most watched NBA Christmas Day in 5 years. It was up 84% versus 2023.
Yeah, the
8 point.
games last year didn't the games last year kind of suck?
Not that
And
I.
maybe people kept changing the channel because of the same stupid John Legend commercial every single commercial break.
Which commercial was that?
Have a merry Christmas, have a merry Christmas. Every single commercial break on ESPN because their
Give
production's
all of me,
oh, don't say that.
all of you. but
Um,
but to sum it up, I had a good experience. Start the game. Um, like I said, do I want to pay that much again for a Knicks game? No, obviously not. Like I said, I don't know if it's because it was the Garden
there's a lot of
and
injuries list here. That's why the
there
ratings
was a
are
lot of
down.
injuries. I know Emmanuel quickly didn't play.
I'm talking about
Uh,
last year.
oh,
Knicks Bucks. There was a lot of injuries for that. There's a lot of injuries. Warriors and Nuggets, and there's a lot of injuries. Who was it? Lakers, Celtics. I remember going into it, people were talking about how it was going to be very lowly rated. I just listen. I can't understand how I'm a local, and I'll never be able to go to a Knicks game. That's half. You know me, like that's. I'm not exactly Daddy Warbucks here. I work retail. That's over a third of my paycheck to one game. $392. You froze. Okay, well, onward. I don't know. And then you look at the road games. You look at the road games, and they seem fine. 26. So it could just be a New York problem, but I don't know. I've heard something similar from people of other markets here. Brandon's going to be joining us shortly. He had some technological issues, so don't mind the weird presentation here. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with somebody paying that much money to go to a freaking basketball game in the regular season. Here, we'll make it a little easier. So I just I don't know. I don't get it. I think it's stupid. And I get that they're the Knicks and they're very popular. I understand. We'll see how much Celtics are charging for games too, but it certainly doesn't help when your regular local fan base can't go to games. And the Knicks themselves market it, all the celebrities in Celebrity Row and all the famous people that go there, they market as you want to be here and it's all for the rich people and whatnot. But I hate to say it, The entire team's culture has always been built on toughness and built on grit and built on the exact opposite of what the brand shoves down your throat. And I think that's a big part of the NBA's problem with viewership. And now they're being challenged for Christmas Day and by the NFL. Their problem is they have an identity crisis. They don't know what they want. Do they want? It sucks I'm making all these good points and he's not here. Do they want to have one super team like what it was with the Warriors going up against LeBron, and it became as predictable as a Batman versus Joker fight in a comic book? But it's just like, oh, let me guess, Batman's gonna win. Oh, okay. And then every now and then it's like, whoa, Jason Todd got whacked. But you know, like it's just now we have so much parity, which I like as a fan. And if you're not a diehard fan, you're not really into it because you don't care about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander if you're some random person. You don't. And they keep marketing. The NBA keeps marketing the Steph Currys and the Giannis and LeBron and the guys that were dominant in the 2010s. You have all these young players, and nobody gives a you know what about them. So I don't understand it anymore. I've kind of given up. I used to cover the Phoenix Suns, and I'm slowly becoming a Phoenix Suns fan rather than an NBA fan because of it. It's hard to keep up with. The national games all suck. I'm sick and tired of the Lakers being shoved down my throat. It's the same thing as the Cowboys. They just shove it down our throat. Go ahead. You know, people whine about it happening with the Yankees. Well, if the Yankees are always good and always a top 2 or 3 team in their conference, I understand it. I could talk myself into it. Am I biased as a New York Yankee fan? Maybe a little bit. But they do the same thing with the Dodgers, and I don't care because where are all the stars on the league playing? The Dodgers. And the Knicks, the NBA, I keep saying the Knicks. The NBA, their problem is that they're not marketing enough teams because they have too many teams that are good. The difference between a lot of these teams is minor. I forget if it was on this program or another one when I was talking about that. I don't understand it. I really don't. Because it's not just a parody. Baseball's ratings are high, and they have just as much parity in baseball as they have it in the NBA now. They have just as much parity in the NFL as they have it in the NBA. Hockey ratings, I don't know about. If you're a hockey fan, you're a hockey fan. If you're not a hockey fan, you're not going to watch to begin with. So, those ratings, who really cares? It's very niche. The whole concept of the NBA just dominating Christmas, I don't think is accurate anymore. I'm not sure if it ever really was in the 21st century because growing up, like I said, I never heard anybody talk about it. And I'm from New York, and the Knicks were on Christmas every single year, and nobody talked about it at the lunch table. And I think that that's kind of a stupid way to judge it. Somebody will throw ratings at my face or something like that. And guess what? I'm still not going to care. Because if you're not marketing to the families and to the kids, then what's the point of it? Okay. Checking the score of the Nets. I don't know. I can't see it being sustainable to say that they're just going to dominate Christmas now. Maybe if they started on Christmas, that would help. But I don't know. I think that the NBA, as much as ESPN is trying to make it them or the NFL battling for supremacy, I think they're always going to be playing third banana to the NBA. I'm sorry, to the NFL and MLB. Kind of got caught in the middle of the two there. So, all right. When he comes back, I'll fill him in on what happened. Once again, he's having tech issues. It's a shame I don't have logins or anything like that to change the presentation, but that's all right. Moving on. Taking a look at other news around sports. we have out of the NFL, the Cowboys shut down CeeDee Lamb for the rest of the year after he had a shoulder injury. And all right, so let's talk about this. CeeDee Lamb's season is over with 2 games to play. Left in the regular season. Sorry about that. That was Brandon messaging me. Lamb, who has dealt with a sprained AC joint in his shoulder since a November 3rd loss to the Atlanta Falcons, has aggravated it almost weekly. He's had more scans this week that showed the injury had worsened. With the Cowboys eliminated from the playoffs, the team decided to sit its number one wide receiver. Makes sense. In a statement, the Cowboys said he is not expected to need surgery and should make a full recovery through a process of treatment and rehabilitation. Lamb is the Cowboys' fifth Pro Bowl player to have his season end early because of injury. Joining quarterback Dak Prescott with a hamstring, right guard Zach Martin with an ankle injury, defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence with a foot injury, and lastly, cornerback Trayvon Diggs with a knee injury. Pro Bowl cornerback Deron Bland spent the first 10 games of the season on injury reserve before returning from surgery on his left foot November 24th. Pro Bowl pass rusher Micah Parsons missed 4 games earlier in the year because of a high ankle sprain, but did not go on the IR. Lamb, who signed a 4-year, $136 million extension in August that made him the second highest paid receiver in the NFL, behind Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, is second in the NFL in receptions with 101 and third in receiving yards with 1,194, despite playing the past 7 games with backup quarterback Cooper Rush after Dak Prescott's injury. Lamb is coming off back-to-back 100-yard games against the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, reaching triple figures in the first half of both. Obviously, a big blow. They are eliminated already, so it doesn't really mean that much. But if you are a fantasy player and you're in the crucial part of your playoffs, this sucks. That's one. 2, I got to say, long term, who knows? Maybe CeeDee Lamb might have some more injuries to consider. I do think it's smart for them to shut him down early. You don't want to risk aggravating something worse, obviously, especially if your games are more or less just for the back of the trading card at this point. So it makes sense if you have CeeDee Lamb on your fantasy rosters. If you're betting on the Cowboys at all, be very careful of that. Other NFL news, we have Kenny Pickett seems to be the starting quarterback for the Eagles, who play CeeDee Lamb's Dallas Cowboys this week. Eagles quarterback Kenny Pickett, who is dealing with a rib injury, said Thursday, that was today, he's ready to go for Sunday's game against the Dallas Cowboys. Starter Jalen Hurts remains in concussion protocol and has yet to practice this week. Pickett replaced Hurts in the lineup against the Washington Commanders last Sunday and injured his ribs in the fourth quarter when he was wrestled down in the backfield by a linebacker, Bobby Wagner. He remained in the game but had x-rays afterward and follow-up tests Monday. Pickett did not reveal the result of those tests, but said the injury is something that I'm going to have to deal with. He plans on wearing additional padding around his rib area in addition to the flak jacket he normally wears on game day. He said he practiced in full Thursday and doesn't expect to have any limitations in the game. The overall tone of Pickett's media session after Thursday's practice was of a quarterback expecting to play against the Cowboys. Pickett said, I don't try to get too caught up into it because there is so much that goes into playing quarterback. I just want to focus on doing my job each play, and we'll see what happens in the fourth quarter. That's really my focus right now. Being as prepared as possible. If it's all said and done and the game's over and I'm going back home with my family, I think that will be the time to sit back and talk about it a little bit. But I'm just focused on being as prepared as I can be right now. This reads to me that Kenny Pickett will be starting for the Philadelphia Eagles this week against the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are 9-point underdogs in this Sunday game. I think it is a little too high. Maybe with CeeDee Lamb going out, maybe that's why they anticipated this. But still, Kenny Pickett, I don't know. They just lost to the Commanders. And I'm talking about CD Lamb and Jalen Hurts likely not playing. CD Lamb shut down for the rest of the season for the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And Jalen Hurts seems to not be playing this week due to his concussion he sustained last week against the Washington Commanders. So I think if Jalen Hurts plays this week, Nick Sirianni, I've accused him on other programs before of trying to get his players killed, and I stand by that decision if they don't bench Jalen Hurts. I stand by that opinion, and
Hey,
I don't
wait,
really care
can
about
you,
it.
Dennis, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Oh,
just
okay.
fine.
All right,
I didn't want
okay.
to stop myself mid break.
I give
The
you
show
credit.
must go on, Brandon, with or without you.
Hey, good for you. Um,
And I did a great segment while you were gone about the NBA. Didn't even break stride. You forget the kid used to do radio shows 2 hours on his own, no callers.
I give
Forget
you
that.
credit. I thank
You
you. I
forget
applaud
that.
for that.
Yeah, yeah. This old dog could still hunt, Brandon. So, uh, do you have any opinion on the NBA ratings and Christmas? It's still being their day. And do you want to talk about the CD Lamb and Jalen Hurts injuries?
I definitely think. I don't know. I don't really have a problem. I like that. I think they try to incorporate the NFL with Christmas. I get NBA. I don't know why people are trying to make it a divided thing. I like that they're incorporating the NFL in quick Christmas too. Now they should probably do it when they have time off. It's tough. They shouldn't do it with teams that play on Sunday or Saturday and then they
Right.
got to play Wednesday. Maybe do like have them play Thursday night and then play Wednesday. You know what I mean? Give them some
Well,
time off to relax and rest.
my opinion on that, it didn't occur to me until the other day when I was talking to our buddy Josh, who's a Texans fan, so his team played on Christmas Day. And he was at the game. It didn't really bother me because it's the same schedule as Sunday to Thursday. Saturday to Wednesday is the same thing. It's just a day back. So that didn't really bother me that much.
Okay.
I think, and the NFL's not going to do it because they're a bunch of greedy, money hungry billionaires. What they should do is put the games on cable, and that would allow people to flip between the NBA and NFL easier.
That's very true.
Less money for them, but more fan friendly. I'm all about a guest experience. I work retail.
I
I
feel like
forget
they're trying to definitely do more away with throwaway cable and try to get into streaming.
that. Yeah. Yeah, but you want to hear something? Most of the shows on TV that have really high ratings are geared towards people in their 40s and 50s and 60s that are the same demographic that are less likely to use streaming. So I don't know where this is coming from for sports. It's not like people just flock to watch the Amazon football games, right? The much maligned Amazon football games that everybody say all kind of suck. I don't know. It's Peacock pulling in for Sunday Night Football. Granted, I mean, you know me. I could just be kind of, if I'm not,
No, you good. Don't worry.
I could be, even if I'm wrong, I don't. I could just be a little
But hey, either way,
prickly.
I definitely think it should be on cable, not
Of course.
just so like you said. I think that'll solve everybody's problems. Whether hey, you want to watch basketball, you watch basketball. You want to watch football,
Or have it simulcast,
you watch football. Yeah, that too.
streaming and on cable.
Let's see. But all right, but in terms of Jalen Hurts and CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys are already done.
Yeah, I said that. I just was talking about a few fancy implications and whatnot, and it's a good move. Whatever. I just saw that it was breaking. He's one of the bigger wide receivers in the league. So figured in case people missed it, I'll throw that out there. I feel like I was a substitute teacher. And then Jalen Hurts, the concussion's still up in the air. Kenny Pickett is ready to go. So, like I said, if Jalen Hurts plays Sunday against the Cowboys, my accusations of Nick Sirianni trying to kill his players,
Whoa.
I stand by it. Very sarcastically, I stand by it. Might I add, I'm being very tongue in cheek, as people say. I don't want people to think that I'm accusing Mr. Sirianni of trying to actually murder his player.
No, you're good. You're good.
The Thunder jumped ahead, Brandon, by 4 points, 83-79, with a minute to go in the third quarter.
Ooh. Okay.
Wow, Thunder battled back, pacing out the Pacers. Outpacing the Pacers, Dennis. Dang it, you had one job. What else do we have on the docket for the NFL?
Teddy Bridgewater is coming out of retirement. He's signing back with the Lions as their backup. I guess because if they figure they're going to go on and run to the Super Bowl, that he'll have an opportunity to get a ring.
Good for Teddy. TV Teddy.
It's good for him. Aaron Rodgers' future tied to a coach and GM hire. So whoever they hire, they're likely going to come down to Rodgers. So my take on it, I think it's definitely interesting with the Aaron Rodgers and Adams situations. This whole fiasco, this whole Jets season has been a mess. It's been a dumpster fire. And everybody knows that. So I don't need to go too into it. Nobody needs to, nobody needs a refresher or a history lesson on it. We sucked. Jets sucked this year. Now, is Aaron Rodgers one of the main problems? He's up there, but I don't think he's the whole issue. But do I think a restart might be needed for the Jets? Probably. You got Garrett Wilson, who looks frustrated. He might demand a trade.
Yeah.
That's someone you want to build around. You want to be like a Devontae Adams. So, and he's setting Jet records, and he's only been with them for 3 years. 3 years. He's had the most receiving yards in 3 years for the Jets. Potential first Jet receiver that's going to have 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons, 3 straight seasons. So he's just a young, dynamic player. So I would hope that they could find ways to make him happy. And I'm not saying you need to accommodate to one player, but that's someone you want to have built, you want to build a core around, like how teams, like, for example, I guess, not saying Garrett Wilson is Jamar Chase, but that's a young player, first-round pick, top 10 pick, similar to Garrett Wilson, who obviously they centered around him, obviously with that connection with Joe Burrow. Justin Jefferson, you look at him, they obviously, made him part of their core. Nothing against Devontae Adams. I love Devontae Adams. But I don't know. And the connection looks good. It's definitely still there, but I'm not a fan of going with the stats over wins. Like last week against the Rams. I don't know if you watched some of the game, but, Rodgers was throwing him more to Devontae Adams more than Garrett Wilson in certain situations. And Rodgers saying, it's just how the defense, using the excuse that that's how the defense, it's where the attention goes and how the defense of the other team draws it up. But there's a play on the 4th and 1 where the Jets decide, hey, the season's done. We're out of it. So, hey, we're going to go for it. They're trying so hard to chase the 500 touchdown pass. He wants Devontae Adams to have it so bad. He misses Garrett Wilson for an easy first down and instead tries to lob it up to Adams where nothing happens. So, I don't know. If I'm the Jets, if they want to start, whoever they hire, they want to start from scratch. You want a fresh start, so the Jets they deal with a lot with the media, and they already have a lot of headache as it is. If they want to let if they want to let Rodgers go, release him. So there's not much of a circus next year like there's been this year. Then go ahead. But I also don't think it's a bad idea to keep him if they do draft somebody and they sit him and they let Rodgers play and let him, mentor him. Because hey, that's Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame talent. But then you also have to ask yourself again. He's going to be 42. 42. So is he going to play the same? And this year, I guess I don't know if he had a little bit of some rust from the Achilles, and his body's definitely been banged up. So there's just a lot of questions with the Jets. Is it fixable? Sure. To me, I don't think the Jets are that far off, and people are going to say you're the delusional Jet fan. Not really. A little bit, but not really. I just love my team a lot. I love my team a lot, but in my opinion, I don't think the Jets are too far away. They just need a lot of coaching, retooling with the roster, maybe adding some more veteran free agents. Like last year, they let go a lot of 5 key guys on defense. John Franklin Myers, Quentin Johnson, Al Woods. I'm getting a phone call, but I'm going to answer that later. Jordan Whitehead, Bryce Huff. Those are 5 key guys. So that's my take on it.
All right. My take on the Jets and basically their whole circus of a season. First of all, I can tell you what their problem was with Garrett Wilson. He had 6 receptions on 7 targets. Thank you. Come again. Devontae Adams had 7 receptions on 13 targets. As simple as that. As far as the Aaron Rodgers stuff goes, I started following sports, like New York sports, in 2006. The only players in New York since that time that I could say there's more of a media circus around was A-Rod.
Yeah.
And Carmelo Anthony. That's it. People forget towards the end with Carmelo Anthony, it was like brutal.
Oh, it was not good.
It was he was like just a nightmare to deal with. There was the rumor that he wanted Mike D'Antoni gone and he wanted Jeremy Lin gone because Jeremy Lin sold more merchandise than him, and Amari Stoudemire wound up actually a couple years ago, kind of supported that. But so there might be some truth to it. But people were so like, when Carmelo Anthony was gone, there wasn't a single Knicks fan who was bummed out about it. A-Rod, the most polarizing New York athlete of the 21st century. I can't think of anybody else I would throw in there into that same realm of just always something. There's always something we need to have clarified. I've seen coaches. I've seen managers, players, A-Rod, and Carmelo Anthony. Even OBJ, not so much.
Yeah, I don't know why. Does New York have a media problem?
Definitely. Oh, 1,000,000,000%.
Why?
But at the same time, too, having
track.
somebody as arrogant as Aaron Rodgers be the face of your team doesn't help. Doesn't help.
That's what we signed. Hey, it's what they signed up for. So who are you gonna blame?
Listen, I get it. I get it on all ends. You're not a player, so you shouldn't be able to criticize me. And you get paid more than all of us reporters in the room combined. And there's so many sub economies tied into your play that, you should be asked questions and stuff like that. It's newsworthy and people care and it sells and it's a business. I understand all aspects of it, Brandon.
Right.
But what I will say is if I'm Garrett Wilson, I'm not, I have sympathy for the guy for being mad. I do. He's too good for the Jets, Garrett Wilson. He's too good for you guys. He's too good for you guys.
Which is why I don't want them to trade him.
Right. If the next game you guys have against the Bills, he better have 15 targets. Whether he catches them or doesn't catch them is besides his point. He had 7. He had 7 targets the other day.
He had 23 in one game against the Vikings alone. That's insane. That was before Rodgers, before Adams. And I love
Yeah.
Adams. Don't get me wrong. He's one of my favorite players
Yeah,
growing up.
Devontae Adams is
I
a
think
great
he's
wide
gonna be
receiver. Like, don't get me wrong.
Hall of Famer future. I love that the fact he's on my team. But
But you can't have basically double the amount of targets as who's supposed to be your wide receiver one.
so to wrap it up, I think to wrap up the segment, I think like I said, with the Juan Soto thing, I was gonna lose sleep. Was I gonna lose sleep if they got him? No. Was I gonna lose sleep if they got him? No. With this thing, with Aaron Rodgers, if they let him go, and if they release him from the team, am I gonna lose sleep? No. Is he the quarterback next season? Do I have my curiosities and questions and obviously worried for the team? Sure. But am I gonna lose sleep? No, because it's Aaron Rodgers. I think hopefully they retool and maybe they just need more coaching. And like I said, if they have the opportunity to have someone mentor, if I were to have anybody that want to mentor my rookie quarterback, I'd want Aaron Rodgers. And then obviously you keep Devontae Adams. But my only question is that I would lose sleep over is would Garrett Wilson demand a trade? So we'll see. It's a lot of questions, and I just worry about it when the offseason hits. But uh, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. But I guess that wraps that up. Uh, we fortunately, I thought this was crazy. I thought this was awful to hear. Of course, it's very awful to hear. Rickey Henderson unfortunately passed away on December 20th. That was crazy. That was crazy to hear.
5 days before his birthday.
5 days on Christmas. I don't know his birthday was on Christmas. That's crazy. It's
Yeah, I heard that once. I forgot
yeah.
about it.
I thought that was weird. Yeah, no, that was definitely weird. Cause no, that's great. I don't know. Rest in peace to Rickey Henderson. Played 4 decades to seven. Played from 1979 to 2003. That's a long time.
Yeah, the Vince Carter of MLB.
I like that he played for the Mets for a couple years. It sucks he wasn't with them in their 2000s run. He was traded, but he won comeback player of the year with them in '99, and he hit like 317, 37 stolen bases. So he was, that's what when his contribution to the Mets. He played for the Yankees. I feel like he's more known for being an Oakland Athletic.
Oh, definitely. He was an Oakland guy. He grew up in Oakland.
So that's crazy. And obviously with the stolen bases record, he left a mark on the game for that. And yeah, just definitely a class act. So I think if I'm correct, he threw out the last pitch. I wish I got that. I should have got that on here, but he threw the last pitch at the Coliseum.
Yeah. And they named it Rickey Henderson Field the last couple of years.
Really?
They did. Which when I first saw that, I thought he died then. I was like, what? Because I just wasn't used to seeing somebody name a building after somebody who was still alive. It was weird. I think my favorite Rickey stat, aside from just the absurd career 1,406 stolen bases and 2,295 runs scored and 335 times caught stealing. We're never going to see any of those get even close to touched for stats. Age 39, 66 stolen bases in 1998. This isn't nowadays. We're getting a stolen base. Honestly, I kind of feel like for every 2 stolen bases you have now, kind of counts as like 1.2 previously. But yeah, I can't believe that. 39 years old, he led the league in stolen bases with 66. Obviously, is the most stolen bases. 130. I think Vince Coleman. Did Vince Coleman break that record in a season? $30. No, why isn't that in gold? Usually it's in gold. Most stolen bases in a season. Oh, yeah, it's 130 for whatever reason.
Oh wait, him? Yeah, I'm looking at
Oh,
stats.
actually, it's because they're not considering Rickey Henderson's 130 stolen bases as the record on Baseball Reference. They're considering Hugh Nichols' 138 as the record. And 1887, really?
What?
Give me a
That's a
break.
lot though. It's less stolen bases.
That's a lot of stolen bases because they're throwing 10 miles an hour. Uh, I just listen. One of the very best players of all time. I remember
100%.
on Shannon
100%.
Sharp's podcast, Ken Griffey Jr. had him in his top 5 best players ever, and Shannon was surprised by it, and he was just like, "Ricky can do it all."
I'm looking at stats. He had 2 seasons where his
Incredible.
WAR was 9.9. That's ridiculous. That was in '85 with the Yankees, and that was in 1990 with the Athletics.
Yep,
He went back to he was yeah. You
2-time World Series winner, MVP winner
when did he win it with them?
with the A's, 1989 Battle of the Bay, and what 1992 with Toronto. Am I
Oh,
right?
he was
I'm not up
90,
on the page.
93, I
Oh,
think. I'm
close
looking at it
enough.
right now. He was wow. That's crazy. He was on
I had a
that team.
50-50 chance. One of the two
What are
Blue
the,
Jays.
he's what are the odds of that? Oh my god, he played for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams. That's ridiculous. That's insane.
Yep.
But definitely one of the best base runners ever.
Oh no, not one of the best. The best,
The
easily.
best, yeah, the best. So this definitely comes as a shock. Definitely a rough year for, uh, in terms of baseball greats passing away. You got P. Rose, Willie Mays, now Rickey Henderson, Ed Kranepool. Anybody else I'm forgetting?
Offhand, none that I can recall, but I'm sure I'm missing one or two.
But it's just crazy to me.
So, it's awful, man.
That's
He passed
unfortunate.
away of pneumonia.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, an outpouring of support in the baseball community for Rickey Henderson and his family, and people sharing funny Rickey Henderson stories, like not depositing his $1 million bonus because he had it framed above his bed, having frostbite in August because he fell asleep with an ice pack on.
Ooh,
Just the random Rickey Henderson stories. And one of my favorite Rickey Henderson stories is a fake Rickey Henderson story, but it's still just the concept is hilarious. When John Olerud was was in MLB, he wore a helmet in the field. We all know this. He was on the Blue Jays Whamco with Rickey Henderson, although technically this is the year after Whamco. And years later, when they're on the Mets together, supposedly the story was going around for years. It was a rumor that Rickey Henderson said to John Olerud, like, "Hey, man, my I used to have a teammate that also wore a helmet in the field. That's the strangest thing. I've never seen anybody else do it except you and that other guy." And John Olerud said, "Yeah, Ricky, I was the other guy."
oh, really?
But obviously, like John Olerud said that's not a true story, but it is funny. Regardless, it always gives me a laugh. A good one that I saw making the rounds was when he was on the Padres. He got on the team bus, and there wasn't an open bench. Right, he would have had to share a seat with somebody. And Rickey Henderson, who he always spoke in third person, goes, "What? There's no bench for Ricky?" And Brad Osmus, catcher and now Yankees coach, said, "Ricky, why don't you just have one of the young fellas get up and you could just take their spot? You have tenure." And Ricky says, "Tenure? Ricky got 15 year." And then somebody got up. He sat down, happy, elated at his, the perks of having his 15 year. So, little weird stories like that. He shared a glove with Ken Griffey Jr. during a game, even though they're on two different teams.
Yeah.
They just left it behind second base and they kept switching back and forth.
Yeah, it's definitely a tragic.
Yeah.
Definitely
Shame.
shocking. I did not think that. But that's life, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So rest in peace to Rickey Henderson. You will be missed.
course. And a happier baseball note: Yankees signed Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, I like that. That definitely. I like that for the Yankees. I
Why
mean, it
not?
took them out of getting Pete Alonso. I don't know how I would have felt if he went to the Yankees. If he did, hey, good for them. But I know a lot of people saying they don't need any other right hand. No, he's left. They don't need any other right-handed hitters. Uh, but either way, I thought he would have been good at Yankee Stadium. I don't know what's going on, but I keep seeing. I saw talks now that Alonso and the Mets are far apart. I think just because all these teams now have had first basemen, the Nats just traded for Nathaniel Lowe,
Oh, I
right?
didn't see that.
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Been working a lot lately, man.
So that took off the Nationals for Alonso. Christian Walker signed with Houston. Obviously Goldschmidt to the Yankees. Josh Naylor got traded, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't like that trade.
Really?
Yeah, I thought Cleveland, one, could have gotten more for him, and two, they shouldn't have traded him in the first place.
Yeah,
I
it's
forgot where he went, Josh Naylor, but somewhere in the NL Central, wasn't it? It's the Cubs. Diamondbacks. He replaced Christian Walker, which breaks up him and Bo, the Naylor brothers. They were both on the Guardians.
but a lot of teams I feel like are, for some reason they're filling in the gaps at first baseman, but they're not filling them in with Alonso though. Why is that? I ask though. I mean, like teams are hesitant to give out the long-term deals. Do I have the questions about Alonso? I don't. What is your take on that, Dennis?
I think teams feel like they can get by with a C plus to B plus caliber first baseman, that they don't need to spend double or triple the money for an A plus caliber first baseman.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
I like that.
And like, it's nothing personal, just business.
Yeah, no, it's just business. So I hope Scott Boras doesn't screw Alonso like he did last year with JD Martinez and Montgomery. Like at one point, these guys want. I don't know. I get Alonso's case. Hey, you play, but at the same time, I don't know. You gotta like. I feel like if he's not gonna get the deal he's looking for, just sign for a short term or high AVA, a lot of opt outs. And if next year, if you feel like you played better than what your contract is and you want to opt out, go ahead. But like I said, I just don't know how long he'd want to wait.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think he should get his team situated now. Obviously, the earlier the better, so you know where you're going. Get familiar with the coaching staff, get familiar with the facilities, get familiar with the team. But I don't know. I don't know what's taking them so long, because I thought Alonso to the Mets should have been a no brainer. I
It'd
thought
be.
he should have been extended last season during the year. Obviously, he wanted to test free agency, and
I
I
think
don't
that was
know.
more of him because they offered him a pretty good deal. It was 7 years, 158.
Which is,
I
to
don't know.
me, is the money may not be there for him, but the years, he'd be 37 years old. He's not getting more than that.
So yeah, he definitely messed up with that, not taking
I
that.
agree.
I don't know what Scott Boras is doing in his head, but I don't think the Mets. People saying that now that these teams are, they're filling in these gaps. He's running out of options. I don't know. I saw maybe the Rangers are still being played, the Astros. Maybe if they're looking for a DH. Um, but I don't know. Like everyone's kind of pointing now the Mets and him, reuniting now.
Yeah, I saw a report that it was a done deal, and that AAV would have been 22 and a half. Pretty fair. That's about the same as Matt Olson right now.
Hopefully it'll happen. I mean, I think it'll happen, but maybe later rather than sooner. You know,
Yeah.
let's see. SNY says Pete Alonso and the Mets reportedly have a sizable gap in contract talks.
Yeah, it seems like everybody knows he's going to the Mets, and they just don't know for how much.
Do you think it's who has more leverage here? I don't know if it's more the Mets because the Mets. I feel like the
Definitely
Mets
the
are kind
Mets,
of.
because where else would he go?
What else would he go? Yeah, they need a first.
But then if you, I guess you're Alonso, who else are you guys going to sign?
So both teams are kind of in a stalemate. It's like, hey, you're the only team that really fit that you could really go to, but at the same time, I'm the only guy really that's out there. Both kind of have like good arguments. it's
So
it's interesting, but hopefully it'll get done. It'll get reserved. Oof.
yeah. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I think that covers
Um,
it as well.
all right.
All
That's it
right.
for sports. I'd give you credit, and I want to thank you for covering for me with the 10 minutes while my Wi-Fi gave out. I want to thank you for that. And I think it was a good episode, despite me, fighting a common cold. Hey, I thank God it's a common cold, nothing else. And I'm definitely excited for Billy Joel.
What is that?
New Year's Eve.
Oh, good for you. Who's he playing with?
Jason Bonham is opening up.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that should be fun. Uh, yeah, but that's it. Anything else before for the new year?
No, I have no plans. Happy New Year to the Sports Shack faithful. And Brandon and I will talk to you guys soon.
All right. Wait, hold up. All right. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening to Sports Shack. I'm Brandon Natali, along with Dennis Turi. Happy New Year and happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Merry belated Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. And we'll see you all next year.